Welcome to Gestalt Poetry Open Mic for August 2023. Thank you all so much for being here. 3 quick notes before we start. To stay updated with Gestalt, see Amy Hoskins /writing. Next month, on September 23rd, our feature poet is Red Medusa. And tomorrow morning, depending on where you are on the planet, please consider attending Poetry Reading with the Fertile Brains. And I've got the link here I can put in there. Now, to start our open mic session, I wanted to share a few lines of poetry by Mexican author and Nobel laureate for literature, Octavio Paz.
Lovely. Good.
Poetry, the bridge suspended between history and truth, is not a way towards this or that. It is to see the stillness within movement. Now let's begin with respect and kindness. Listen to and share our poetry with each other today. Starting with our featured poet, Michael Sindler. Let me introduce you now. Michael Sindler is a Denver resident and a native of South Carolina. He is current Beat Poet Laureate of Colorado. His work crosses genres including poetry, fiction, nonfiction, memoir, theater, and songwriting. He has been published in a variety of national print and web venues, including 2020, The Year America Changed, All the Lives We Ever Lived, volumes 2, 3, and 4, New Generation Beats, Caesura, and numerous other anthologies. He has collaborated with and participated in a number of media bridging projects and productions with museums and arts organizations throughout Colorado. He is featured in and facilitated virtual and IRL poetry readings, performances, and workshops across the globe. He is 1/3 of the Beardo Bards of the Bardo, a Zoom-based transcontinental poetry performance collective. Now, please unmic and welcome Michael Sindler.
Hey, Michael.
Woo! Woo! Yes, friend.
Hey.
Good to see you.
Thanks, everybody. Okay, so I guess that means I should get started. Just a tiny bit of housekeeping. If everybody could mute themselves, that would be much appreciated, so I don't freak out mid-thing. And just, I don't think there's any kind of trigger warnings that need to be done, other than if you haven't eaten, you may get hungry. So with that in mind, we're gonna go ahead and start this. I'm assuming everybody can see, and unfortunately, I don't know how to get that little thing off the side, but this is my presentation, and it is, as you can see, called Kitchen, because some of y'all know I spent like over 30 years in commercial kitchens, so that's really what I know most, and it's still in my dotage, my obsession, other than writing. So getting started, this first piece is called The Line Cooks. We work the line in the stifling heat that thickens the glaze that sears the meat and boils the savory bubbling broth, skimming off layers of rising froth, sauteing and frying and braising and basting, spicing just enough, measuring and tasting, using every tool and apparatus we can wield, then plating our craft, our art, your meal. And the next one is for anybody who forgot to eat today. This is Breakfast, an imitation of Fall by Mary Oliver, which is a wonderful poem I recommend to anyone who hasn't read it. The fresh eggs, yolk and white, frothed together as whisk sweeps smooth ceramic bowl. Schwick, schwick. They tumble like a wave onto hot buttered skillet, expanding elastic, elliptic, bubbling beaten ovum, a xanthus-hued swamp of coagulating protein, unfertilized gift of hen's exertion. Browning on the bottom, then flipped, then folded over, encasing shredded cheese, the plating, then the service, laying the simple feast before the beloved. And some of y'all know I lived on an ashram for a number of years, and my best friend there was this wonderful guy, and his name was Sxm. And so this is indebted for Sxm. I think of Sxm when I make doses, letting rice and dal soak till they are right, grinding each, blending together. Mixture sits and ferments overnight, aromatic with faint scent of fenugreek, thick sour batter ready to pour, hot pan layered with bubbling ghee, beloved friend's signature chore. I will never make one quite as fine, thin, and perfect as a note on the wind, round rolled a sweet mango chutney, such delectation I will not taste again. Half a lifetime since last we cooked together, recounting deft and gentle preparation. I recreate the treat and recall the man in lowly but honest imitation. Savoring my sad crepe all alone, I hear the echoed laughs of children, see the faces that beamed with joy whenever Sxm was in the kitchen. Though the taste is not the same, it's close enough to soothe the ghost. Pupil plates the pancake with a prayer, still and always indebted to the host. And this is another little memory from the kitchen when I was working in a fine dining restaurant in South Carolina. It's called April 5th, 1997. I was a line cook then, heard about it right before my shift, walked into the kitchen and wrote 86 Allen Ginsberg on the slate. One of the other cooks, who was also a poet, had to leave the line and go cry in the washroom for a few minutes. I may have cooked food that was savory for the diners' palates, but there was only a bitter taste in my mouth that eve. And this one is another memory of the ashram, because there's so many pleasant memories there. This one is called Mango. Children weave their way through the kitchen, around table legs and cook's knees, hovering over basket, pressing firm skins, finding the ripest mangoes, holding their spines up. Chef knives slide sideways around teardrop lozenge pits, pull apart halves, one side pulpily clinging to seed, other freeze easier to cut. Blade striping checkerboard, puffed out fruit pops up into firm, spongy cubes. Juice drips from smiles over chins, sweet as heaven, finest of fresh fruits. Wet hand towel wipes fingers and faces, squirming, squealing cherubim dart for door into sunshine, roll down green grass hill into row of marigolds, pick handfuls of mango-colored blossoms, gather treasure into plastic bucket, beg for needle and thread, concentration and comedy as flower by flower, long strands are strung, tied into delicate garlands, fragrant as a garden. Racing back to kitchen, tugging on pant legs, staff bow and curtsy, gifts of earth and toil, tiny artisans' creations tugged over heads. Having adored adults, a laughing flash, dart back, dash back out the door, racing across field, black and mango-hued monarchs, fritillaries, and painted ladies flutter step as aerial pirouettes. As dinner bell rings, feet turn, feet flight towards tent, feast laid out resplendent in thick, tall metal vessels, staff serve from long table. Hurried repetition of ablutions, clean hands hold plates overhead, giggling lips beam smiles, rice dal and subji ladled, juices combine and congeal running over roti bread. Best of all desserts and bowl, mango matcha pudding sprinkled with pistachio. Bellies full with treats, sweet day turns dark, recline on the cushions, soon sleep shuts lids, beloved kids scooped up, carried gently to bed. And I'm gonna take a sip here. And this one gets a little weird. And it is called, Found Taped to Fridge. Before you open, there are things inside you might not want to find. There are things that were fresh that now are rotten. There are containers put back empty. There are containers whose contents are sour. Everything inside is dying a bit more, hour by hour. The light may have burned out. And this is just a little haiku called Edibles. Snoop and Martha changed each other's idea of what edibles are. And because I cannot stay away from poems about fruit, this is Peeling an Apple for Bryan Franco. And sadly, Bryan can't be with us today because he got a free ticket to go to the theater. So I don't blame him for not being here. Peeling an apple, always trying for that one long, beautiful, unbroken spiral, rolling down to rest on the cutting board below, like a sweet smile of success. Sometimes it happens, a small victory gladly taken when I can get it, whether denuded in one fell swoop or stripped in several segmented attempts, it falls without sound. Between peeler and poised palm, the spongy white fruit flesh awaits, fighting urge to bite deep and chatter, 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 cycling teeth around until devoured down to stem and seed, desire held at bay. Instead, paring knife comes into play. 3 strokes to quarter, 4 more to remove core, slice, 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 thin and even, stacked and shifted, circular arrangement arrayed on top of tossed salad with walnuts, plum tomatoes, and gorgonzola. Sheer wings of fructose soaking up vinaigrette, bold, balancing bite, crisping up soft red leaf lettuce and bitter radicchio. And, you know, even though I don't drink anymore, many would say, what's a meal without some wine? So this is wine within. You are the wine within the glass, subtle signature, unmistakable essence, sweet with one sip, bitter the next, intoxicating enigma, ineffable and unpredictable, leaving want as an aftertaste. And y'all will notice when it comes to food poems, a lot of mine revolve around the ashram. And this is Prasad for Puja. Prasad for Puja, sticky sweets set at the feet of Ganesha, round balls of coconut, dates, and crushed pistachio, honey, and rose water. Rolled in time to mantras laid in concentric circles on silver serving plate, decorated with mint sprigs and marigolds, carried into temple, laid before the altar for assembled deities to partake in through prayer and pure spirit, chanted slokas and bhajans, waving camphor lamp aflame, kindled exhilaration and prostration, gods having had their fill, tray lifted, circumnambulation, boon born around sacred space, devotee to devotee, each proffered gift placed in palm, lifted to lips. I'm sorry, I have some weird thing happening with I got to get rid of this. I'm very sorry. Okay. Sorry about that. Each proffered gift placed in palm, lifted to lips, gently bitten, soft, sweet treat. Joy travels from tongue to anahata chakra. Heart opens to love. Resting in bliss, lower limbs in lotus, coconut strands stick between teeth, temperate tranquility, rosewater aroma overcoming ambient incense. Last bow to altar, rise in reverence, silent solidarity of spirit, sliding off through exit to sleep and dream until morning satsang. And now we turn tragic. And this is a death in the kitchen. I have to throw away a saucepan. My go-to closest at hand workhorse, just the right size in which to make a one-bowl meal or a portion of pasta. Nothing special, not the best, adopted out of a dumpster, used nearly every day for years. Don't get me wrong, I've got others, but this one fit the bill for so many little tasks beyond count. It's hard to remember not having it at hand. I'll let you in on a secret. I killed it. There, I said it. It was me. It was me. It was my friend, and I did it in. It was already on the edge, my only Teflon among the Cuisinart and Calphalon. Some scratches in the surface, serving up forever chemicals with every dish I cooked in it. But this time I walked away, let the computer suck me in. I forgot and left it simmering too long on a hot stovetop, warming leftover tagine, tasty next day dinner turned to black Moroccan carbon. Crust sticking like concrete, no amount of hopeful soaking would ever begin to unharden. So I boiled water in it to loosen the muck and used the safest scrubbing pad that would crack off the gook. Yet once it was gone, my poor 3-quart helpmate was sadly scratched beyond the point where it could ever again be called nonstick. Now it sits on the table waiting for the grave like a dying pet. I know it's absurd to mourn it so. I should discard it in the dumpster where it came from so many years ago. I will. I swear I will. Maybe tomorrow. And this one is called Mothers. My mother washed and reused tinfoil because that is what her mother did. My mother cooked all kinds of food her mother would never allow. My mother didn't have two sets of dishes, two separate sets of pots and pans. My mother didn't keep her kitchen kosher, didn't do things the way her mother did. But she used many of the things she learned watching her mother labor at the stove, cooking with thrift and skill and love. My mother served many of those dishes her mother made in that simple kitchen in the heart of the Depression, when it took all she had to keep a family fed. Later, when her mother came to dinner, she basked in the older woman's praise, a dutiful daughter despite the differences. My mother saved more than tinfoil. She saved a kitchen full of love and joy that her mother had bestowed upon her. And a bit of that was carried down to me and into every kitchen I have called my own. And this next one is another fruit. It's tangerine. Its slackened peel slips off casually, awaiting conquest, releasing orange outer garb to reveal succulent treasure, puckered surface giving way beneath thumb, cascading down, drops its veil, once worn gown falls into blue blown glass bowl, tender orb tearing softly into crescent sapphire sections, tart dews teasing drops, urge fingertips to caress, to press, to lift to lips, giving way to slow pressure, it bursts, sweet citrus essence rolling onto tongue, fruits, captive flesh, fragile pulp strands crumple between teeth and melt into ambrosial jelly, rolling towards the expectant belly. And finally, we come to this, and this is my best buddy here in Denver. Takes actually shortly later this afternoon, we're going to go eat. But this is Slice of Life for Jim Wentworth. I have no need of metaphor to describe what I adore. I'll say again, as I have before, nothing beats a pizza. A crust, some sauce, a bit of cheese, whatever topping served to please. Of all the world's delicacies, nothing beats a pizza. A burrito's fine, a burger's great. Fried chicken makes me salivate. But just to recapitulate, nothing beats a pizza. You're welcome to your favorite food, raw or baked or barbecued. Eat what you like, I won't be rude, but nothing beats a pizza. So thank y'all very much. I appreciate your listening.
Thank you. Everybody, please unmute.
Oh, Michael, so good, friend.
Excellent.
Yahoo!
Well done, my friend. Well done.
Gorgeous.
So much to say. You did such a wonderful job. Yes. So sensual, so wonderful detail, wonderful storytelling. I love the one about the wonderful kids tugging on pants and all the things, and the ASMR of your rhyme and your rhythm and your presentation. Just delightful.
The rhythm is really, really good. The whole flow was just so good. So good.
I agree. Anyone else?
I'm hungry.
I
So that means I succeeded. That's
Dude.
it. It's my fiendish plan to make all of you hungry.
You are a success.
Do you have a more fiendish plan for feeding us?
Uh, that part is up to you. I wish I could. I would so love to be able to make a meal for everybody. It's actually incredibly frustrating to,
Oh,
to cook every day and, cook from things all around the world and just only be able to do it for one. But, gotta eat.
yeah.
I loved your ashram poems as well. That was really nice to hear those memories.
Yeah. It was a
I could hear those children giggling, running out of the door, going down the hillside, Oh yeah, it's
Yeah.
very cool.
Beautiful imagery from food to field, just them rolling down the hill to the marigolds and stringing the marigolds, just delightful. Thank you so much.
Okay, great.
Well done, my friend. Well done. Well done.
I'm going to put the fellow poets in the chat. Got a few people in. Sorry, I'm admitting a few people. Okay. So can everyone see that? Did it work?
Yes.
Okay, good. Okay. So first of all, we have Alexandra Psaropoulou.
I've always wished that Michael would show more of his paintings, because I keep seeing them there behind him in the background. And I know he's an artist, and I wish he would just scan them and, take photos and just show them while reading. And then, yeah.
Yeah, unfortunately, I don't have very many left, period. I lost almost all of my artwork over the years, most of it all in one sad situation where I lost thousands of pieces. But yeah, I only have a few left.
Like a house fire?
No, like a guy telling me I could put all his stuff in his warehouse and then not letting me get it out. So yeah, lost a lot. But you go ahead. Sorry.
Jeez, okay.
Michael, when I come to see you in October, I could take photographs of your paintings and send them to you.
Yeah, whatever's left. Well, mine were burnt in the house fire. So. My trembling personality, my galloping personality. Let my flaws in, let my virtues in, battling, balancing between earthly and ideal behavior. Riding with warrior duties, flying with festive ceremonies. Ancestors and descendants transforming protogenic instincts and barbarity into cultured, refined nobleness. All personalities becoming one. Following the smoke of Ithaca, wayfaring my own boat. Ruins behind, dreams ahead. Expectations blending with sirens as songs. Punishments and rewards repenting and enriching our voyage. Crusading, descending and ascending, scarring and rejuvenating. My trembling mind, my galloping mind. Let my fears in, let my visions in. Battling, balancing between earthly and ideal reality. Riding past fallen Troy, flying towards sacred temples. Poetry and prophecies, transforming missions and experiences into immortal knowledge and treasures. All minds becoming one. Unadorned words enchanting the fiery dragon of the golden fleece. angels and art all ablaze, burning down all molds. Prometheus gifting profound new templates and ideologies, lighting up matter and spirit, earth and sky. My trembling heart, my galloping heart, let my sorrows in, let my raptures in, battling, balancing between earthly and ideal love, riding through tempestuous waves, flying through moonlit water lilies, cocooning chrysalids, transforming hurt and trauma into hardened molds, all hearts becoming one, hovering above earth's wounds, embracing the altar of healing. Mystical muses weaving threads of sweetness, of solace. Resilient yarns guiding us through labyrinths of personal growth. Initiating, elevating each journey of each relationship. My trembling soul, my galloping soul. Let my sins in, let my blessings in. Battling, balancing between earthly and ideal liberation. Riding into dichotomized horizons, flying into cosmic rays. Eternal divine laws, transforming dark ancient forces into golden propulsion and pulsation. All souls becoming one. Lighting my own path, a path unique to me. Purgatory sun, holding turmoiled memories, inflexible desires, escaped hopes. Rising and setting in the azure of the sea, in the azure of the spirit. Surging into eternity with full sails, all my efforts maturing. Our trembling civilizations, our galloping civilizations. Let our tribulations in, let our exaltations in. Battling, balancing between earthly and ideal humanity. Thank you.
Thank you so much. The spirit, the energies, the flow, the mechanics, the engineering of all of your artwork and your poetry, it's just a beautiful flow. Thank you so much. Thank you for being here. And we have a special guest with us today. KHAOS is here, one of our elders. KHAOS, can you hear me? I think I just muted you.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Wonderful. Would you like to go next?
Oh, I can, yes.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Here's a piece called Jazz Men. All my friends are jazz men. They can bridle thunder and saddle the wind. They can create such a groove, paint sound and a picture. So mellow, soft as silk, so sweet, so smooth. This is what they can do. Take a simple note, make it flat, make it sharp, bend its shape, then send it back toward you. So clear, so true. They can take the melody of any tune, make it fast, make it slow, make you laugh, make you cry, make you swoon. That's right, my friends are jazz men. They can tint the moon, make it bright like sunlight at noon. Want to feel an emotion? Make your heart flutter and float like a boat in the ocean? Jazz men can do all that. All it takes is a notion. Jazz men can make a song. No right, no wrong, no virtues, no sin, just beauty. Like an artistic cut, mixing and fixing, mixing and fitting each and every part. Jazz men working their way into your heart. Saxophones coming on with a slow, sexy moan. Trumpet, reaching, creaking, constantly sound reaching. Guitar strings, sing! Come on, man, do your thing. Bass bumping, thumping, timing, really something. Keys, please bring them to their knees. Traps, snap, tap, then slap. Jazz men so cool like a summer breeze. Yes, all my friends are jazz men. They can bridle thunder and saddle the wind. That's jazz men. Thank you, Amy.
My apologies. Thank you so much, KHAOS. Are you sure you just want to do one? Okay. All right, next up we have Lennart Lundh.
Greetings, everybody. Woke up this morning having no idea what I was going to read for today. Went about 15 miles further south down from where we live, photographed a large car show, and so I got home and the picks of poems were pretty easy. 57 T-Bird, Highway 36. The car burns on the side of the road. Smoke, a million shades of gray, joins henna and bottle blonde yellow flames, making faces in the autumn afternoon. Once polished powder blue, the paint is blistered and smoked to some different color entirely. A small crowd barely watches the end. It's now of a certain kind with the pocked, spotted, wrinkled, mottled skin of an old man, once noticed. Too many miles, no longer collectible. Salvation is a concrete noun. On a dirt gray, mid-March morning, with LA all around my vision, rising in its sprawl down to the sea, I saw the horsemen in my mirror. Saw 4 horsemen come with terror, cursing and fuming, gesticulating, stuck in the nowhere going traffic backed up on the 405. And laughed. Traveler's therapy. Shadows on the road grow long, become shadows of themselves within the fans of headlights when the sun is gone. Moving west through some state, right angled to the new moon, the concrete snakes through forest like a lover heading for a mistress. 6 weeks on the road with 6 to go. He's tired of sleeping in strange towns. He lies in bed, looking at her picture, the one she sent 2 nights ago. She is leaning against their headboard, wearing a camisole with one strap slipping off her shoulder. He dares imagine what's below the photo. The paisley cloth is a Rorschach to him. He sees her breasts, one boldly bare, the other peeking timidly through her hair, a country river flowing down it. Thank you.
Thank you. I love your Christmas, your clarity, wonderful imagery. Thank you so much. Thank you. If you guys see, oh, here we go. Michael, that is totally fine to do a request. Yes. Okay. Now we have Richard Spisak.
Thank you so much, Amy. It's
welcome.
wonderful to be back among my so many friends and comrades. I had a bit of a surgery and I'll be in the men for a while, so I'm not quite back to my normal pitch, but I will share a couple little pieces with you. Hopefully they'll bring you a smile and some thoughts. This first piece I want to share is regarding the picture behind you, or behind me actually. It's called Rudder Crossing, and it's about 4 individuals who were in such desperate straits in Nigeria that the only thought they had even leaving their families behind to try to make some kind of way in the world, was to find their way and climb aboard the rudder of a freighter growing who knows where. So this is about that. 4 fine refugees fleeing what in Nigeria they were seeing. Fierce danger, the implacable crush of corruption, dared a great deed across the unknown sea lanes feed. They prepared a meager kit of customaries, these visionaries, a sparse sack of rude food, a threadbare hammock found to sway. The boatman, ferried, found these lost ones out, and the only boarding gate under the twisting tail to skate. In a Nigerian harbor, they climbed aboard the rudder. Brother and brother, one by one and the other, a makeshift hammock and brotherhood, there hangs the reward's harder hound. Enough threadbare supplies barely kept them alive, slipping and riding on the rudder, shifting, sliding constantly, shifting above the Atlantic's misty depths, drifting, adjusting, lifting their perches, waving the sea's turbulent face, riding, gliding across the broad Atlantic's face, 15 days dangling above the sea's sharp face, to Brazil, across the sea, slip-sliding, the ever-moving, ever-shifting, slipping, dipping, rising, comprising, dunked and dripping, hauled back, slipping and dozing, the shore of Brazil presented a rescue, a chosen. Thank you. I have another couple little pieces for you. I think this one will make you smile. Now, I had so many lovely messages from so many caring brothers and sisters. This came from that. Let us talk of love. Let us talk of love, sing of love, dance of love, construct little huts for love, dream wispy cloud dreams for love, cultivate small plots for love, clear little gardens for love, sprinkle with tears for love, the sunshine dust with rainbow powder for petals. Let us talk of love. And then this last piece, many of you have heard some of my animal stories and animal poems. In the spirit of Merlin, who always invited us to participate, join in some other life, some other animal existence, and try to imagine that. So I bring you the story of a creature that I and the world just discovered. It's a cryptic 20-armed feather star that lives beneath the Antarctic sea ice. Imagine feeling one's way beneath the depth of ice. One gray-lit day, each flangy finger seeking lingers to taste the path at last. One cold cocktail tastes the slim, salty rim in the shifting crystalline light that reaches deep. Each finding finger grasps and tender tastes the neck in swirling circles checked. Amidst the bobbing ice chunks, hopping in blue ice reverie, beneath the wind-whipped glow that knows, facing fractured, the drifting, lifting, crumbling ice that's tumbling. Each 20 finger implies in its spiraling course to find these 20 arms, each finding place beneath the shifting icy face. Each spiny finger searches fast to trace. Promocrinius, the cryptic creature, wins thus its spiny finding. 20 feather-footed dining perch beneath the searching sea ice perch. These Antarctic feather stars, concealed by where they are named and cryptic claimed, so it seems, because of how elusive are their salty seaside dreams remain, crawling there beneath the ice, below the wind and snowy glowing fold, each seeking its luncheon in the deep. Each feathery finger seems to see amid the icy rime these febrile tasks, and beneath the splashing ice to grasp. From 65 to 60,500 feet they lurk and search the icy canyons kept and crept, these fingers finding swirling cryptic feather stars. Unworldly may be the easiest way to sway. Thank you.
That was lovely. You're a wonderful storyteller. So very clever. Thank you. Wonderful to have you back.
Thank you.
Now we have Marianne Sxm.
It's me,
Hi.
Annie.
Hi,
Good to
Amy.
see
It's
you.
SXM is St. Martin, the short form for St. Martin, where I come from. And I'm so pleased to be here today. Thank you for having me. Congratulations, Michael. I really am delighted not to have missed this for the world. I hope I can read 3 poems in my time. And so I will start right away with a poem written for Canada's Indigenous Peoples Day in June and recently published in McQueen's Quinterly this month. I am so young. I am so young. I am much younger than our land and the old ways of Cree people. I do not remember a time before we built our homes in an arc above the shore, believing in the rainbows that pierce the clouds atop the grateful aspens after the summer rains. I do not remember a time before the last time they came with their punishing machines to flatten the homes of my father, my grandfather, and his brothers, as if 8 times were not already enough. They said our land was too valuable for us because of what is buried beneath our feet and worn by the bears, beavers, and spruce at home in the country we share. They did not understand that our land is too valuable to scrape clean, for every day we mine memories there and speak in voices that sound to them like falling logs and dollar signs. As we raise our stories to the stars, now I know only the lake whose shining eyes follow mine wherever I look in every weather, and I am still, even within a storm. We no longer walk for weeks to meet our neighbors, yet we gather where we are rooted, sheltered inside thick grass walls that slope toward the big water and open to the sky, just as we have done for 5,000 years. Sometimes I am glad it is still my time to be young. The next poem was written lately. As many of us know, a number of our friends in the broader poetry community are grieving losses of sisters and grandmothers and others. And this one is called Come to Me. I look for you beneath the canopy, where the seething ocean meets the sky. The setting moon does not warm the beach, and there are hours before feeble sunrise. In the sand, the salt makes a final stand. A trail of silver spittle clings to the shore, foaming threads from an exhausted mouth. Yet I walk among regurgitated sponges to assemble a story to hold onto from the blues and greens of tumbled dreams. And I will walk here in the cool of every dawn, that you will always know where to come to me. And finally, just in today, thinking about night light. Candlelight does not illuminate gifts under the Christmas tree and mouths twisted in recrimination with the same warm light. Torchlight does not brighten paths walked hand in hand and nights in the tormented forest with the shared glory of the Perseids. Lamplight does not impart a glow to the gaze of diners locked in love and silverware wielded like a sword with the same intensity across hard and soft divides, but gaslight. Gaslight will uniformly blanch the face of one who waits in vain for a midnight cab and one who knows too the apology will never come. Thank you.
Wow, thank you so much. That was wonderful, wonderful
Pleasure's mine.
storytelling.
Thank you.
Thank you. Welcome. Forrest Halford. Oh, I'm so sorry.
All right. No, I think it's someone before me, Susanne West.
It is. I misspoke. Suzanne, are you ready to go? Wonderful.
Yep, I'm
Thank
ready.
you.
Thank you, Forrest. You could have gone, but thank you. Let's see here. Okay. I have 3 kind of medium, shortish medium ones. This is called Small Talk. Small talk hurts my brain, scrambles my thoughts, freezes my jaw, aches my head. I want to scream, throw something, bite my nails, play with my fingers, hyperventilate, run away. If and when my wisdom comes online, I sense the aching inside you, your terror of feeling, and how the walls of words, no spaces between, protect you. Then I feel like crying. And this is called Threads of Love. The threads of love woven into us since the beginning streamed me away from the family, from the dark of the family, who could only see their light and love in the electric promises of this world. The threads knew that I would find true home. Invisible help would guide me. I would weather the harrowing journey. Pain would crack me, break me, that is, open me, to make more space for the love. Changing now from wisps to ribbons to rushing, roaring rivers that would flow into the dry, barren reservoirs in this being, thirsting, longing for love and life. And the last one I just did yesterday, it's called Dear Infinite. Called to fall into the gracious field of the infinite in the midst of emergencies, urgencies, life playing its part perfectly on all the stages in all the theaters, falling apart, coming together, and dear infinite, neither coming or going. Thank you.
Thank you. The what was it? Threads of Memory? Was that the name of the
Threads
second?
Threads of Love.
Yes, sweeping descriptions and metaphors of beingness. I just adore that one. All of them were
Wow.
wonderful, but I really, really like that one a lot.
Thank you, Amy.
Thank you. Now, Forrest Halford.
Hello there. I'm an old friend of Michael's since like 3rd grade, and I am just so impressed of his depth and feeling as a writer these days. It's like seeing a different picture of the same person I have always known, and it's a very rewarding thing. Michael asked me here, and he made a comment the other day that I had not played guitar for a long time. And I'm not really a writer, but I did write this song for my son when he was about 6 or 7 years old, 1976, 77. I mean, no, 96, 97, around that time. And it has a backstory that I'll try to be kind of brief about. But basically, I was at work and I got a call from social services and they wanted to interview me. And so I went down to talk to them, and they were concerned that I had been using the term hot boogers with Gavin. And this happened as a result of us being in the gym and being in the hot box. Now, I come from a long line of booger pickers and eaters. I just do. And so does my son. He comes by it natural. And so we were in this hot box, and I says, man, it's hot in here. And Gavin goes, my little son, 6 years old, goes, yeah, hot boogers, hot boogers. And I'm like, man, hot booger pie. And we just giggled. We just giggled, and it was the kind of laughter that soothed a lot of the darkness that I was feeling. And so anyway, I was asked about this hot boogers because the person making the allegations, and I knew full well it was his mother, but the person making the allegations was saying that it had to do with sex acts between men. That was the prison slang for this. And so I made one of the finest retorts that I'd ever made in my life, I thought. I says, well, maybe she has a better idea of prison culture than I do. You know, boogers, you pick them, you flick them. Anyway, this is This is to continue in the gastronomic theme that Michael put forth, but with really nauseating levity. And so after that interrogation, they basically told me that I shouldn't say this with my son. And I was just thinking the hilarity that it gave us. And the fact that he probably went home to his mother, because we were both living in dark times, and he probably said this to give her the same hilarity, because it was a relief, and she took it and used it as a weapon against me. But be that as it may, I wrote this song afterward. And so, pardon the repeated phrase, but I am sort of petty as well. While driving along one day, my son said, "Hey Dad, I'm curious about something that we've never had. On Sunday at dinner, I'm wondering why would we never have helpings of hot booger pie? I sure would love helpings of hot booger pie." I looked at him sternly, said, "No sir, we'll not have lunches or dinner that are made out of snot." He looked kind of hurt, but again he asked why. Why can't we have helpings of hot booger pie? You know I'd love helpings of hot booger pie. And then I got thinking, yum, 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 there are boogers everywhere. Everywhere that there are noses, pick, 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 you'll find boogers growing there. And with the rising cost of produce, it made good sense to me those kids are picking out those boogers, 'cause boogers grow for free. Hot booger pie, yes, hot booger pie, it's nasty but thrifty, that hot booger pie. Hot booger pie, my kid sure does love him some hot booger pie. I've searched the world over and found by and by, and there's nothing as thrifty as hot booger pie. It's been many years since my boy asked me a question that caused us some great misery. Well, yes, we've seen trouble, but look at us, son, and don't let them ever tell you that you shouldn't have fun. Don't let no one tell you you shouldn't have fun. Hot booger pie, there's something disgusting about booger pie. But I've searched the world over and found by and by, there's nothing as funny as hot booger pie. So keep on a-giggling about hot booger pie. Are you gonna eat that? Thank y'all.
Thank you. That was so much fun. I really appreciate you sharing that with us. Thank you. And now we have Finn Hall.
Woohoo! Hello. I'll cheer myself. The heck with it. Evening. I'm going to do something different. I'm going to do 4 little poems. There are two I was asked to write. One I was inspired to write, and one I actually wrote. They've all been written for someone else. And I'm not sure if I've done this one before. I may have done it last year here because our gracious host Amy asked me to write a poem last year, Empath. I'll get a kick off with that one. It's called Empath. I see, I hear, I listen more, except my ears don't work as well as they used to. That is not an excuse. My tears still fall, but silently, my arms outstretched, and I can never truly feel how you feel. I've never been shot at. I've never been victimized, I've been lucky, or I move in different circles. I've always moved in different circles. Sure, as a teenager, I was bullied for 5 minutes. My confidence was low, but no one took advantage. I don't always know what to say, the right thing to say at the right time, but I knew how I felt. I still wish, that everyone's worst problems were just lacking a little bit of self-confidence. And this one I was asked to write last year as well. It's for somebody I don't know. And there was like a big protest down in Dundee, I think it was 60 miles ago. It's something that I'm sure worldwide we suffer from. Some people suffer from. It's bad landlords and, you know, treat you like shit. And this is called Ode to Mold. Would you like to live like that? Would you like your children to live like that? It's obscene, that green and brown are found on walls, creeping, seeping, fungal mess, leaving tenants in distress. Mildew and mustiness prevails. Please do not inhale if you have asthma, or worse. The curse of greedy landlords lording it over all, making people vulnerable, making people sad, making out that they are bad for asking, as is their right, that the blight be removed. Instead, you are behooved to call of the pound, the sound of crispy notes entwined, the joy of your bank account daily growing, and all the while knowing that those who pay the rent are living in an infested mess, despairing that their uncaring host is not the sympathetic kind, remaining blind no matter what the cost to their tenants. And this one was actually, it was on Kemlin's thing last year, just over a year ago, and sorry, Jennifer mentioned something and called Each Before Each Other. Each before each other. We're sister and brother, living in different lands, wearing the same brands, breathing the same air, and some air cleaner than others. But just that word, that one word, each, makes it different. We are all each other, different faces, different places. We should journey together, get lost together, be together. No other, each other. Two together, three together, all, each and all. No other, just each other. This one was written for a friend in up this way who's last year was going through a lot of shit, a lot of mental stuff and physical health. And it's called Poem for A. It's hard when you're down to see where up is, but it's just there, hiding in the shadows, just waiting for you to say, hello, you want to come on a journey with me? We may not travel to the stars, nor even to the moon and back, but one thing is sure, we will go. Just say the word and make the word yes. It's easy to say that we've all been there. And at times like this, you shouldn't care. You've better things to worry about, for sure. In no way will I dare to be condescending by pretending that what I say will make you right. When all I can do is give you a start, if you like, on that journey. Book the car, pack the bag, open your door, help you on your way. And that's it. Thank you.
Wonderful stories, rare slices of life, and very sensitively and pensively told. Thank you so much. Always a delight to have you here. Kate Jenkinson, our feature from last month.
What a great set that was, Michael. And I wasn't sure what I was going to read today, but I've got a poem similar to one of yours. So if I can echo some of what I heard, it's called Apple Peelings. I can't remember you saying you could do it. though religiously at 4 p.m. every day you did. Always a golden delicious, a yellow orb held with precision, as from the stalk you made your only incision, releasing the fruity spiral onto your lap, watching with wonder and clapping our appreciation at another apple peeled in one. I see myself here, in the river's reflections rippling outwards, our red heated cheeks at a bonfire party, and in the stickiness of homemade toffee apples, the inside fluff of purple leather gloves, the door opening to your key, and the highest bounce of our boxer dog, the colours in the scarves you bought me, and the red alert from your Snapchat. And then this one's about raspberries. I thought I'd go with a fruity theme. Grasping a hand grenade full of crimson bright whiskery fruits, whose droplets threaten an explosion of taste, I ready my face for these rough berry bubbles, each bursting with juice grasping buds, an aggregate jamboree of sweet, sometimes soury, have a blast cheery madness of raspberry chastity or tautberry messiness. Their tartiness complements my class and cheeky sassiness, bold as brass, merry as Cranachan. And then, because you've seen my final poem, they're all short. The octopuses on my hat. This is called Solitary Alien Intelligence. A gaggle of geese, caravan of camels, a shiver of sharks, a fever of stingrays. There is no octopus collective. There have been meetings where I felt like the octopus in the room, my neurodiversity fathoming other problems with an alien fluid intelligence. But unlike the octopus, I couldn't squeeze myself under the bottom of the door, escaping to my solitary den. A stock of businessmen, a board of directors, an odium, a deceit, a lie, a party of politicians, an obscurity, rhyme, meter, I am of poets, but there is no octopus collective. But if there were, it would be called a consortium, and I have to think they'd do a better job than a deceit of politicians ever would. Thank you.
Thank you. I love your wordplay. That was the juiciest poem. Both of them, the apple and the rabbit raspberry. Thank you. Very clever. And now we have Clive Oseman.
Hello.
Hello.
Okay, so I think I did the same sort of thing last month. I did one flash fiction and one poem. Still experimenting with flash fiction and enjoying it. So the first one is very short, actually. It has to be 75 words exactly. And it's a bit different to my normal. Most of my flash fiction has been extremely surreal and rather silly, a bit like my poetry, but this one's a bit different. When I heard there was a new nostalgia shop in town selling all our yesterdays at inflated prices, I had an idea which filled me with hope. I checked my bank balance and the limit on all my credit cards and bought every yesterday I could. They were very heavy, but I carried them to sea on my shoulders and let them go forever. Everyone I had ever loved was lost. I noticed no difference. So that's that one. And right, the poem, if you want to call it a poem, because it's one of mine, you know. So if you want to call it a poem, I'll let you. But it's a react. Some of you may have seen it on Facebook, actually, but it's a reaction to an email I got, which was obviously a scam, wanting you to click on the link. And it was apparently I had won an Oral-B toothbrush from Boots, the chemist. Now, why anybody will get excited enough about a toothbrush to click on a link that was quite obviously a scam, I'm not quite sure, but I do like, although I didn't actually physically reply to them in this particular case, but I do like to compose replies to these things. And I want to share screen for this because the spelling of some of the words is quite important for the context of the poem. So I'm just going to share screen. Okay, so it's called Oral-B. Dear Boots, or is it shoes or slippers? One can never be too sure these days. Some people have no soul, and it can be quite a feat to tell if an email is genuine, with the quite shocking amount of scams on the internet. I hope one day someone will put their best foot forward and heal the world of this scourge. Regarding the toothbrush, I am so excited to be getting it. I've never owned anything better than a supermarket owned brand, and as a result of this impoverishment, I lost all my teeth at a young age. The Tooth Fairy boycotted my house because she said I deserved all I got for not buying Oral-B. So I'm hoping if I brush my gums regularly with the exciting new acquisition, my teeth will grow back, possibly less crooked than they used to be. Crooked teeth are almost as abominable as crooked people. I do hope this brilliant new toothbrush is rocket fueled. I'm a lazy sod, and the effort of manually brushing my gums and eventually my teeth will be too much effort after a hard day's sucking. I must thank you for this awesome rocket fueled toothbrush. Please forgive me for replying in this manner. I do bristle at emails with links. I can't handle them. I know Boots wouldn't scam me, but you can never be too careful, can you? Thank you very much. And I will now stop sharing. And that's me done.
Thank you so much. That was so much fun. As always. And now we have Ashley Edge.
Evening or afternoon, is it over there?
Afternoon.
Sure, afternoon. Afternoon, everybody. Oh, I could do with having the afternoon back. I wasted mine doing housework. I've got one from my book for you, called Tomboy. I haven't read this one for a little while, so I'm pretty sure a few of you have not heard it before. Summer freedom of copying the Karate Kid. A ring made of shoes and t-shirts. I stand, skinny arms raised, fierce scowl on my face as the boy next door yells, ding! You watch from the side, plaster casted arm waving, fist clenched, nonsensical cheers from your mouth as I pound my victim to a pretend pulp. The boy next door pulls me off my prone brother, shouts, time! Arms raised, victorious, I dance around the homemade ring. You guide me away, sweaty hand in sweaty hand, away from the field, my trainers, the safety of my brother. You compliment my uppercuts and Nassim-esque weaving. We sit on playground wood chip, damp from summer rain, bottoms numb, arms goosebumpy, ear tickled from the puppy soft fuzz on your upper lip. 6 months I've made you wait. I wanted Solskjaer or Ryan Giggs, not a northern mini-rat gangster with a stolen bike and a broken arm. I sit fidgeting, trying to think of something other than football. You sit fidgeting, trying to cajole me by stroking my leg. So I let you kiss me on my cheek. There you go. And then I do have a little one for you, just in honor of the fact that Michael gave us such a great set about food. Cheers, making me hungry. So I'm going to go make bacon cheese toasties after this. But I've only really got like one food poem, and it's about sweets or candy, should I say. So I'm going to give you my love poem to candy. It's Haribo related. So I'm not sure, do you get Haribo over there? Just substitute them with gorgeous sweets or candy that you guys like then. You'll know some of them, I think, though. A wondrous gummy bear, delightful straub, delicious love heart, delectable fried egg, almighty gelatin, animal or vegan, how I doth bow to your taste, how I doth tremble at the mere thought of nibbling every one of you. There you go.
Thank you so much. Did you have more? Did you have more?
I can do you another one if you want. They were short ones, weren't they?
Yeah, let's do another if you don't mind.
Cool. I have no idea what I'm doing. Shall I do another nostalgia one? Why not? I'm in the mood for them. Made me happy reading it, to be fair. So I'm going to give you Shark Infested Garden, which is also from my book. I'll chuck a link in after. The first half of it is all nostalgia, all about being a child. So yeah, Shark Infested Garden. Daddy takes a saw to every tree, leaves their stumps for me to stand on, hopping from one to the next. Teeter with me, feel the wind against your cheeks, hair blowing into our eyes. Look down, it's turquoise and grey, a churning, frothing ocean, fins slice through choppy water, encircling us. Noses rise from the rippling water, their gaping jaws close in, bright white daggers, sharp teeth, seeking our innocent flesh. Dusk air clips our chin. The moon crackles through our vision, calling time on perilous fun. See the grass inches below, waiting patiently for tomorrow's game. Can you tell I was raised with Jaws as the main thing? Proving my age there. There you go.
Thank you. Wonderful storyteller. So well crafted and curated. You bring forward just enough sensual experience to bring you there, make you in the story. Thank you.
Thank you. You need to buy my book then, Amy.
Right? If you'll put a link in.
I'll chuck it in now, mate. Yeah, I'm going to show up so somebody else can read.
Okay, thank you. Katie Thompson, are you here? Do we know? Katie Thompson? Just checking. Okay, maybe she'll come back in a minute. Let's see, Freya Pinney.
Hi. I'm just going, I've got 3 short poems and I'm going to share them because I have them to images.
Wonderful.
Oh, hang on a second. I'll need to maximize that. Sorry, technical. I'm not good at this, apparently.
Don't feel alone. Technology.
There we go.
As it's doing it now. Okay, great. So this is an image that was made by a 10-year-old that I work with, and I put the words to this one. So, sometimes I'm full of wonder. I imagine what is unsaid. Then I wonder if what I imagine is really what is unsaid. If I'm very brave, I take a chance and ask. If they are extra brave, you might answer. A knowing, momentary glare flashes past our eyes as they meet fleetingly. A vulnerable instant that speaks volumes in its silence. How I wish to hear your whispers, your knowings, to obliterate assumptions with utterances that fall into laughter. My heart and brain ache for the hurt that underlies your struggle, your fear, your pain, your secrets. Your mind is a magical place full of wondrous expression. I know. I see what little leaks out incidentally, what sits beneath your surfaces, pressing in weight. I see that pressure on you. I feel your distress and admire your bravery to endure. And this is some words that I put together for somebody else that I work with who is an adult and a writer. Yeah, I've got stories of how I come to these places with the people that I work with, but I will just move into the words. She was weathered by the creases and scrunches of the paper. Life had left its marks on her. She looked happy and content. There was a glimmer of hope in her eyes and cheekiness in her crooked smile. She looks at the world through her words. Her stories are reflected back through her eyes. She has a lot to say. She has many words to share. And this is just a totally me related piece of work with the painting as well. And so the painting and the words that go with it are about that time I subluxed my jaw joint, pleasuring my wife. That sweet spot, delicious, salty sweetness with a texture of magic, slips me into a place outside of time and space, a universe of our own where nothing else exists, an endless series of moments over and over. In it. I am so in it. So inside every moment that I do not notice. So lost in her that I cease to exist outside of every moment. I do not notice myself until after. I fail to feel my own tension building, a searing ache that envelops me, an endless moment anew. Relax into a new push and pull, physically manipulating new twists and turns, rubbing, stroking, dragging myself back together, relocating gently with such force I roll back into bed, utterly spent in satisfaction.
Thank you so much. Wow, just beautiful imagery and wonderful storytelling. And thank you so much for the work that you're sharing for your poetry and painting.
Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. And now we have Laura Grevel.
Thank you, Amy. It's great to be here and hear all this wonderful work. I've got 3 pieces. The first one, Michael, is called Wonton Soup. Through the valley of the gods rides a lone Just Eat delivery boy, wearing one molting white feather wing. The wing flaps half-heartedly, as though to take flight amid the sandstone cliffs and fir trees. Maybe it wants to reach a pinnacle. The boy seems oblivious of his wing, his head down, face exhausted, legs now pausing. We hear the boy sigh. He looks up and around as though surprised. That's better, says the wing. The boy turns his head left and right. Who? Why, it's me. What? Where? Here, on your back. Did you think you ride alone? The boy turns, but the backpack obscures the wing. I see nothing. That's an attitude, said the wing. Think it over. You're carrying more than Chinese takeout. Okay, the second piece has another short with some food elements. If I had 3 lives, one would be lived in the grass, slithering in greenly hallows, sliding on mossy mallows, slinking through daily winking sassafras. One would be lived in the sky, winging on wheeling watercress winds, wafting on careening cauliflower clouds, wallowing in an eagle-eyed eternity. But the best would be lived here with you, on this birthy, dirthy, worthy thing called Earth, sitting in this steaming, tattered, screaming Garden of Eden, chewing on this spicy, dicey, spinning tamale of life, loving you and you and you and you, on this day that begins each day the same way, with light. And the last piece is another connection piece. It's called Pursuit, after a poem by E.E. Cummings. I carry your eyebrows that are highbrows, that are love, that are looks, that are in me like the many paintings on your wall. Everywhere they follow me, giving me sighs and a rise to the birds in my chest that are your determination that fly me to the skies. I carry your eyebrows as my armor on my back, thick and bushy, up that canyon, riding horse track across the prairie. Mile-high blue skies and panhandle grasses brush my thighs, for grandmothers grow in strange places. Bareback whinnies are my pride. I carry your allows and holy cows that are soft, that are sewn in my pockets, in the sockets of blood and flesh and trumpet, that spit and souse your meaning and your gleaning, climbing cliffs and gambling ships and running from the law, running to the word, dropping finery and flaw. I carry your highbrows in deepest crevices. No one knows I've got these ties, deep in heart and veins and ganglia. In the city of New Orleans, in the ladies' book club, in your burnt orange car. Southern belles are not all Southern. The Western Star leads me afar to your perch upon the moon jar. I carry you in my heart as you ride tides across the prairie, and I come galloping in hot pursuit. Thank you very much.
Wow, Laura, so excellent. So excellent. Your rhythm, your performance, your alliteration, your rhyme, everything, just wonderful. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Now we have Jeff Cottrill.
Okay. Here's a relatively recent one. It's not really mine, though. There's been a lot of talk about artificial intelligence and how that's going to affect our creative endeavors. I thought I'd do a little experimenting with it and see what came up with it. So this is my AI poem. Hello, this is Real Poem by Real Poet. Here is metaphor for futility of life. Life is undercooked pie, devoured by crabs in heat, in purple Commodore 64 computer, divided by 43. Why is sky green? because there is no bananas in portrait of my last Duchess. My name is Ozymandias, hear me roar, and she is buying Stairway in Park with George. Summertime, and your mother is easy, and I guess that is why they call it blue velvet. Exit, pursued by Bear Bodkin. Now, real poet tries to obtain Arts Council grant. Hello, this is conventional literary poet. Poet writes about nature and poet's pet cat and struggles of poet's immigrant family before poet was born, and wild caribou that is symbol for futility of life, and much alliteration and sound bonded. An error has occurred. To continue, press enter to return to the stanza, or press Ctrl-Alt-Delete to restart the poem. If you do this, you will lose any unsaved imagery in all of the previous lines. Error, OE 016F, BFF 9B 3D4. Press any key to continue. 0% complete. 13% complete, 34% complete, 57% complete, 78% complete, 93% complete, 98% complete, 99% complete, 100% complete. Hello, this is Real Poet. Now, Real Poet tries to score high slam points. Hello, this is Slam Poet. Poet is very politically aware and cares deeply about relevant social issues and uses audience as personal group therapy and uses word awesome sauce for laugh and ends poem before 3-minute time limit. Real poem ends now. Signed, Real Poet. So that was my experiment with AI poetry. If I have time for a second one, this is one I'm sure most of you have heard before, but it is now published in Finn Howell's anthology, Blotters Jotters, all the way from Scotland. So here it is again. This is called An Honest Proposal. My dear, my love, please accept my hand in marriage. There's nothing more romantic I can think of. Just think of it. Think of the lovely life we'll share. Think of the rapturous wedding we'll hold. Think of the passionate honeymoon. Think of the limitless lovemaking. Think of the joy of stepping into our first house. Think of the tears we'll shed when our first child is born. Think of the pride we'll feel watching our child grow up. Think of the slightly fewer tears we'll shed when our second child is born. Think of the stretch marks you'll have. Just think of it. Think of the years of family dinners spent together. Think of the birthday parties and Christmas mornings. Think of the endless school hockey games and plays. Think of the countless sibling fights we'll break up. Think of the disappointing report cards. Think of the minimal amount of tears we'll shed when our third child is born. Think of the neglect our middle child will suffer. Think of the times our middle child will act out because of our neglect. Think of the moment the cop will tell us our middle child has been arrested for vandalism. Just think of it. Think of the dull daily routine into which our lives will plummet. Think of the day we'll stop going out without the children. Think of the evenings sitting in front of the TV and never speaking to each other. Think of the passive-aggressive verbal jabs we'll poke at each other. Think of the moment we'll forget what we saw in each other in the first place. Think of the screaming arguments our children will overhear when they're in bed. Think of the slamming doors and hurled plates. Think of the silent treatments and insincere apologies. Think of the therapy bills our children will pay. Just think of it. Think of the night I'll catch you receiving cunnilingus from my brother's weightlifting trainer. Think of the condescending tone you'll adopt to mock my sexual inadequacy. Think of the tiny basement apartment into which I'll move. Think of the vicious, exhausting court battle we'll prolong for months. Think of the enormous legal bills and time wasted. Think of the way we'll make our children choose which of us they love more. Think of the friends we'll lose and the gossip they'll share. Think of the size my belly will grow as I just stop caring. Think of the botched plastic surgery that'll symbolize your desperate drive to stay young. Just think of it. Think of the thousands of lonely nights of TV dinners and masturbation. Think of the chronic online stalking of old high school crushes. Think of the, oh, you're leaving. I suppose you need more time to think. I'll be waiting here with this beautiful tungsten wedding ring. A life together. Just think of it. So that was an honest proposal. Two quick things before I go. This Thursday afternoon or Thursday evening, if you're in the UK, I am featuring in Lime Square Poets. So I will put the info about that in the chat. And the Saturday after that, the weekend of September 8 to 10, I will be in Albuquerque for the New Mexico Poetry Summit. So if you want to do a road trip to New Mexico, go there. See me and a lot of other people like Special K, Marissa Prada, and stuff. Okay, have a good one.
Wonderful. Thank you. Very realistic. The second one, kind of painful, but very good. Thank you so much. Do we have Love Infinite or Trejon Dewberry here?
She doesn't appear to be here anymore.
Okay. Terry Rose Jerkson.
Hi.
Hi. Welcome. Good. Thank you. How are you?
Good.
Good.
So I'm going to read a new piece I just wrote today. In the beginning, there was the word that was spoken by God, and the creator of all things contemplated how alone they were. They thought to themselves, let me create the universe, and saw that it was good. Then God said, let me create upon these heavenly bodies atmosphere and water and trees. Further, let the water have the ability to bring forth life. All the gardens and plants and natures and animals needed names. God pondered on creating a man and woman created in his image to tend the garden and to keep him company. But God, being all-knowing, saw where this was going to lead and abruptly changed his mind. Should I read one more? Okay. Shocking things in this lifetime that I never could conceive would have to be the worldwide pandemic, which sneakily never leaves. This epidemic still infecting people that I know, and yet its effect weakening with vaccinations seem to slow. But with or without its thinning of the masses, could it have naturally died out with or without the maskus? See what I did there? The poetic license that I so freely whip around your ears hopefully are not offended. But alas, these last 2 years have shown us how we can turn the evil to good. In these rooms, making a difference with the words that we choose to use for the good of all who want to make a difference and shine a light. I never imagined that a virus would also inspire their creative genius in us all, or unite us as we stand, or divide us as we fall.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Is Joy Johnson here? Joy? Okay. Is Lily Rex here? Okay. Tricia de Jesus-Gutierrez?
They're present.
Yay, thank you. Welcome.
Good afternoon. And I wanted to thank Michael for that full set. We hardly ever get to hear a full set from Michael, and this truly calls to, puts on display the full mastery of how you just weave language so beautifully. So I just want to share 2 poems. The first one is called Death Rites. I move my arm in time to the brass bowl's last ringing tone. Reverberation sitting upon the air, smoked neon blue, white, and gold shimmers, wavers, reappears, the tips of my fingers rousing their illumination. My left arm rests against my torso, its hand curving protection around my scraped, barren womb. My touch is memory's reflex. It remembers past life stirring, kicking, once, twice, then stillness. Heart flickering, once, twice, now gone silent. The silence wanted to remain, wanted to devote herself only to me. Her infatuation taunted, loomed. We waged battle, made up, made love, grew weary, forgot how loathing begins, how love ends. We stood motionless. We witnessed in awe, whole woman, half woman, fractured woman, occluded, full moon, half moon, quarter moon, eclipsed. Time is the only one who understands patience. Lust drained colorless, enmity dims, feels too much like we pantomime mourning. We let forgiveness pass between us unspoken. We sit together uneasy until the bird song stumbles, is abashed, is mute, flies southbound. We greet winter. I wash rose quartz in the watery reflection of the returning moon. I am mindful, deliberate as I chew unripe persimmons to spit out tonic flesh onto the newly turned ground. This is my offering to Izanami, I whose belly she emptied, I who now holds a crow's nest in its hollow chamber. I scatter rock salt to blanket my phantom girl. I blanket her in its purity to keep her safe while she sleeps. I will comb my hair with her unformed bones and hum my own mother's lullabies at eventide. I will grow my hair's strands into the black and the silver of the night sky, pin it up with stars like fused hot astral breadcrumbs for the unblessed to follow. I do not know how to map these shifting constellations, of course, the path that leads wandering souls through life and death. I find myself in the clearing. I find myself in the netherworld. I find myself in the charred heavens. I am lost. And then the second piece is called Mintaka, and Mintaka is sorry about my dogs. Basically, where all water beings originated from, the planet, supposedly, according to the oracle cards. You must hear this story the day I reincarnated, mortal flesh, molting fin, and sugar glass bone, landing starship upon a Monday evening's dying planet. Sonar wave Rhea awakens, tightens, my plumed, prideful fishtail, ruining my smeared vermilion gash lip, breaking a winning streak. It was in that instance you bellowed. I paused. There was nothing laced in the impending icebergs, melting in my drink. Poseidon's bow, you were assured of it. Brine and tang, I murmured back. I was always tracing the shape of your lips to round the vowels, soften their frantic release in my direction. You dimmed this flame inside your hurricane lantern chest. You cupped long fingers to surround it, to guard it, to protect me while your essence, your combustile you, hissed between our untended gaps, your fire not wanting to churn vaporous my whirlpools, my water not wanting to douse you, wanting to swallow you whole, not wanting to want you, wanting you. I felt how my bare skin screamed beneath siren scale, rapturous when you singed it the very first time. I remember when we were November, I remember us as December. I remember the hot wind of you, sunburst gust on my throat and cheeks, testing your come-ons, summer sweltering, blistered. You never came around in those days, your destination far abroad and untold. I had known in Mintaka, spirit ascending, I would gift you my devotion, I would rainfall you my patience, coax poppies from the cracks of your desiccated earth, of you nexus birth soul. It was then we understood, we halted the tumbleweeds rolling in their southwest wandering. We rooted wildflower, every riotous color in the desert, burgeoning life. In those days, I sang the sea drunk for you. She pulled the moon's phases erratic to echo you, to greet you, sunrise, Elios mounting, to hold you, to save you, sunset Icarus plummeting. You bore not a solitary care as your violet rays rip the sky bare, to embrace you, to rescue you in your nightly downfall. Thank you.
Oh my gosh, masterfully done. Just so beautifully done. Thank you. Thank you so much. Welcome. I see. I'm sorry, is Terry Rose Dirksen here? Did we try this before? We did. Okay. Christopher T. George? No. Okay. Vanita Leatherwood.
Hey, thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you.
Thanks to everyone. I'm really so happy to be here and so full, and just happy to find you. I'm not at home, so I'm working here to pull up a couple of pieces I want to share with you. Okay. Sorry, just a moment. Okay. This piece is called Celadon Kitchen. I imagine that my mother is receiving funeral flowers for me, sitting in her Celadon kitchen, unaware that she might just say green, unaware that she could send the white carnations, the asters and stock, the huge basket of drying leaves and angel's trumpet back. My brother is watching from the heaven she believes in, wanting to whisper in her ear, my sister is not dead, but she takes the flowers in. I imagine that my mother is receiving funeral flowers, sitting in her Celadon kitchen, her earrings heavy, her fawn pink nails, lightly toasted brown fingers, fiddle at the clasp. For a moment, she considers unleashing it, rubbing the swollen lobes with the smooth of her thumb. Of course, she does not. Someone might knock at the door and ask if she is the mother who let her daughter dance in moonbath. Lean into woman love, turn away from crosses and pillars and arrows, into thicket and moist mound, saying it all without saying, lesbian. I imagine that my mother is receiving funeral flowers, sitting in her Celadon kitchen. Houndstooth and revelations justifying the misery she feels in her daughter's defection, in her playing for the other side, in the succumbing of the seductions of dark, dumb dykes. Certainly, she thinks, staring at a photo of me in cap and gown and wedding lace. Certainly, she taught me better. And the second piece I'll share is called Find Me. You'll find me here when it's over, when the labor is done, and my mind can stop racing, stop sifting through thoughts so swiftly I nearly slice my soul. Look at how my jeweled hands shake. This knot in my neck is a noose, but they call it success. I need this house that faces north, smiling house, silly house, dust balls dancing warm house, puppies barking loud house, silky, soft, gentle cat house, big black women hummingbird house, fresh house, tea growing, ducks swimming on our pond house. About time I found a safe pillow, a place to lay my head. White sunlight at the foot of our bed house, our heads nestled, our lips soft, our house. You'll find me here in this dragonfly house, and so will I.
Did you have another?
Oh, for now. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. Just beautifully written, wonderful storyteller. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So glad you're here. Now, did Terry show up here a minute ago, Terry? Terry Rose Jertson?
She read already.
Already read.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, how did I do that?
Because she's so
Wait a
good,
minute.
everybody wants to hear her again.
Oh, now I see.
That's
Now
just how she is. She's just that kind of personality.
I agree. It's my confusion as well.
I can go again if you want.
Let's keep going now. We have Eike Waltz.
Just one piece only.
Okay.
Whilst the country basks in heat and rain, fall has arrived in Monterey Bay, California. 67 Fahrenheit will do. Sardines and millions of sooty shearwaters have arrived. The song of the lark. Indian summer, fall graffiti, a teaser, a late pleaser. Cold rain coats flowers gently. Frost covers the inevitable. Colors fade into obscurity. Cornfields getting ready to check the husk. Noisy machines complete the task. Winter preparing the valley, naked, foggy, cold reality, past eyes weighing in, searching eyes, little of saying, little to say. Whistling winds blow, but icy white crystal snow, candlelight, so warming for my soul. Spring, so long ago, so long away, too playful a sway, remembering comforting fragments of a childhood past, last summer's heat, hiding in waves of sun-drenched yellow, late years freshly bundled on canvas painted wheat. Reminiscing the lark, jubilating my heart. Way aloft, the smell of the daily cut, green grass. Tell me of a world I didn't see. It's all right. I admire that native tongue. I searched, learned to understand. Finally, I succeeded and found for you my voice, as if I learned to speak. And silent dreams went on the future shape. It's passing late. It's brushing dark. No rush, no rush. I made my voice and embrace. At least I see now myself on a way called Scare Me Not. War, hope, money, God. Now that I am weary, now I see who is rich. Now I see what is poor. Yes, once I begged too. I feel them all. How could I forget that fascination for that sweet stench of that human garbage dump? It's not that annoying all. Is it heaven? Is it hell? You will find out. I'm here. Native tongue will tell, will shout. Time is running late. Passing thoughts have no date. Too far to make out an inkling of eternity, visiting that forever tired cemetery, a black hole at the beginning of infinity. It's all so vividly, unlike, passionately me. Yes, my friends, it depends. It depends. If you are listening to native tongue, or if foreign tongue is listening to native, what? Who is you? After all, the day may be last fall. Thank you.
That was so beautiful. Thank you so much. Thank you for being here. Let me see if I can get this right. Now, Carlos the Unhappy is here.
Hi there, everybody. Good to see some friendly faces. And thank you, Amy, for letting me in and sharing some words for you. I've got two shortish poems, and one tiny Zen poem for you. So let's start with that. So if you just close your eyes for a second and join me. Empty bucket, full of universe, and still room for rain. Thank you. So I wasn't going to do this one, but I heard Michael's poem, and he talked about Allen Ginsberg. That's my phone telling me to go to bed. It's just gone 11 o'clock here. Anyway, yeah, he read a poem that remembered the day that Allen Ginsberg died, and that was actually it shares the same date as my birthday. So I don't want to put it out there, but yeah. So I was reading a lot of Ginsberg at that time that he died as well, and so it did stay with me. Anyway, so I dug this one out, kind of based on what I heard earlier. This is Hollyhock Mind Odyssey. Out of my mind, in this moment, I see with universe eyes. The sunset of our dawning goes on forever, and death is but mind death. This vessel, but a moment's moonlit lake, a carnation star. The dark, merely emptiness where she has kindly yet to grow, waiting, buried in night, bathed in dreamlight, and on she rises to show herself as Ginsberg's Sunflower Sutra, that is a Sunflower Sutra, dream of day, that is this beaming face of Garden's jolly hollyhock. And that day, this every day could be, is the jubilant day Sisyphus sat sated, replete upon hillside, finally unencumbered, sat there alone in the cool, cool breeze, watching his great boulder rolling and run right down to the bottom. And then when the dust began to settle, the sweet peace that followed. That day, that jubilant day, Sisyphus saw new equanimity of mind in the crystal heavenly quiet, and that everything was free and nothing, all of it flooded with birdsong and sky, all of it made of same self, atomic lotus petals, sunflower, hollyhock. Thank you. Let me just find that other one quickly, a few pages on. And since I'm coming from wet, rainy Wales, and you are all American friends of mine, I thought I'd give you a view of what America looks like from over the other side of this dirty pond. So this is, can't say you're gonna like it. This is Dear America. Go on then, America. Show me what you can do. what you can do to give woman a flower and freedom. Show me your grace, amazing or otherwise. Show me your heart in office, your wisdom, justice, and soul. Come on, America, show us the overdue humanity you've surely been saving for just such an occasion. Show me your willingness to be great, that you're ready to bow down to Turtle Island, bow down to the legacy of Agent Orange. Show me how you bear arms and reach out to the poorest. Show me your rumbling, hungry nukes and their mass dismantling, stepping fresh into a world of peace. Show me how to deal with Trump, the Tea Party, kids with their classroom guns, inequality, and the death of the earth herself. 'Cause so far, I ain't seen shit. Thank you.
Have to agree with you, and we're over here.
Thank you.
I love your spiritual perspective, your Zen, and then the way you brought your spirit to view America as well, what needs to happen. Is Lloyd Hannah here? Okay, now we have Dane Ince.
Hold on a second, let me find it.
Mm-hmm.
I have a some Tonkas and an Irish form poem. Like water washes, I will drown myself in you, baptized by passion, tropical raining from lips, bliss, desert searing hot kiss. We carry our scars. Yesterday pays for today, ancestors follow. We dream we are free from them, on our own, never alone. Tethered to this earth, wishing to soar, to find love, you branch I land on. We sway in breeze, harmony. I dream more now in your arms. Before the world dies, tangled thighs we slide out of, a dream held kissing, pulse quickens, nibble on lips, come wrap me in your poppies. Our mythology. Crows flew, dawn liminal light, long ago, love lost, waiting. This song story is mythical. Red hair, long poppy flaming. 1966 protest song heroine walked in green dales of fairies. Release us from this quarantine. Lips speak sweet love, lush berries. Sparkle her eyes, perceiving ears, hearing sorrows worldly, lifts us out to believing wounds sewn up, held, loved, lively. Namaste, fair Mercedes, soul, heart, grace, and whimsical love like isles of Cyclades. Crows flew dawn like liminal. Thank you.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. That was so good. Well done. Thank you so much. I love your wordplay. And now we have Dan Speers. Is he here?
Here.
He's
I'm here. Thank you.
you.
Michael, I have to tell you, you were really great tonight. And Generalissimo is now on the line, and I'm going to sneakily tell him that you wrote a poem and read a poem tonight that's a tribute to him. So Bryan, if you're listening, you got to get Michael to read that for you sometime. It is absolutely great. I loved it. One real quick announcement, our monthly open mic, Creative Haverhill, which is the third Wednesday of every month, and which is televised, will be live on the internet starting this September. So if you want more information and you want to participate, go to creativehaverhill.org and you can get a schedule and see what we've got coming up. Anyway, the one thing that I fear more than any other poet, like all poets, I guess, is that although our poetry is immortal, we are not. That's, you know, when W.E. Yeats, the eulogy that W.D. Ashbery wrote, he said, "Do not tell the poem the poet is dead." And that's a wonderful sentiment. Never tell the poem that its poet is not here anymore. And this is the lament of the poet. Is there anyone listening? Is there anyone listening? Asked the poet, rhythmically reading words, neath a candle flame stuttering on the lines and rhymes his passions preferred. The cat on the mantel twisted an ear, then twitched a whisker white. And the lonely poet cried out again a second time, "Will no one hear the words I write?" But there came no response to the poet's plea. No face from the dark shadows that dwell within a poet's lonely soul appeared with comfort to bestow. Still, he knew they were there, the keepers of his fears, those doubts and insecurities that lurk within a poet's mind for years with no sense of priorities. Yet he felt in his heart they were wrong, that he was a poet of merit, and the silence of his fears in his time of stress would squelch the ire of all his critics. Abruptly, he slammed his fist upon his desk, face so red, eyes filled with fire. Tell them I wrote this poem for one and all, the world to embrace and inspire. Not a whisper of dissent filled the still, stale air. Though his voice was loud and clear, and every word he spoke echoed in the night from the poet whose poems were dear. Yes, they heard the scratch of pen on paper, the sips of wine when nights grew long, and how the poem strove softly onward, though the poet was dead and gone. Thank you. I just want to say one more quick thing, then all the tributes to Ginsberg tonight. I have a copy of How, autographed by William Carlos Williams, who wrote the introduction to the book. And I got it when I used to read back in the 1950s and early 60s. I read at the City Lights in San Francisco. Tells you how old I am, you know. And then I met Ginsberg sometime later, not at the City Lights, but actually in New Jersey, of all places. But I have a copy of one of the original copies of his How that he was actually sued. The publisher was in the Supreme Court of the United States because it was considered to be an obscene book, and it was declared to be a good book. So this is one of the earliest banned books. And I also have a copy of Jack Kerouac's original On the Road that I got in 1958. And in 1964, I duplicated his trip. I started out and I went all across the United States and did the same trip that he did. And it was the most thrilling adventure of my life. Anyway, thank you very much for letting me read tonight.
Thank you, Dan. That was marvelous. It was marvelous to hear you. You're always welcome. Thank you. I'm working on place. Okay. Kelly Murray McAllister. Did I get that right?
You did.
I did. Welcome.
Thank you. I'm going to start with a piece from Tumblewords, which is my primary time spent with Michael every week. We missed you today, but this is an excellent reason to miss out. But I really feel like this piece is one you would enjoy. Okay. I have a particularly stubborn hair that grows from the bottom of my chin. A dark one, of surprising length and resilience. I often find myself idly hunting it. You'd think it would be easy to find, being so ostentatious, at least by the standards of chin hairs, but it eludes me far more than it should. I found it the other day, plucking it, holding it aloft and measuring it with my nail bed while I was looking at a presidential mugshot, one a long time coming and very much earned. I expected the latter to feel more triumphant than the former. It did not. That's the thing about history. It's only history in hindsight. As an act of comparison, contrasting one age with another, one event with those that preceded and those that succeeded, theorizing and thinking about cause and effect, speculating wildly about the paths not taken, the possible worlds that never were, and if maybe they were better than this one. Most of our lives will not make the historical cut. They will be snipped for time. Most of our days will be lived and then forgotten as they should be. But there are moments we live self-aware, knowing that the events happening in front of us, around us, will be remembered. Sometimes they feel momentous, stealing our breath with their scale, but too often, surprisingly often, they are simply banal, too large to fully grasp, and too incremental to experience at once. I marked this historic moment, this historic mugshot, with a brief, huh, before my attention returned to the capture of that stubborn chin hair and meaningful satisfaction finally descended. I thought you would enjoy that one, Michael. And on a slightly darker note, this one is a pretty heavy piece, so just be warned, I suppose. I am a small nation of risk. Population every man I have taken to bed, whose names I have long forgotten, if I knew them at all. These men who think I'm a lucky break, an easy lay who doesn't want a phone call the next day, but women think I'm reckless, that I should be more wary, that just because I know where I've hidden the knives doesn't mean I'll get to them in time. They worry that in time, I'll be another statistic. Every woman knows a victim, more than one, more than many, for too many, which we confess to each other in tearfully hushed voices. The times we lost our humanity to our femininity became a number and a headline. It's a miracle of math that every woman knows, as we can count the victims we know on all our fingers and toes. But the men in our lives never seem to themselves know a single perpetrator. How could that be so? But I went on my reckless way until the day I told you to stop. And maybe you didn't hear me over the sounds of our bodies meeting, but we had gone too fast and I was not ready and it hurt. I hurt, so I said stop, and you did not. So I said it again and again and again, a lifetime of regret and recrimination between a generation. The fatefulness of it, no surprise, just resignation. Is this the night I joined the sorority of the violated? I wonder as the seconds stretched if this was my inevitable initiation. You stopped, eventually, you did. I never said you didn't. But you didn't understand why the tears fell from my eyes unbidden. Your bewilderment was honest, but that made me rage inside, cresting and rolling like an ocean that I could drown in with a sigh. Because how could you not know why I was crying? How could you not know? How could you not know? How did they never know? You tried to get me to keep going while my tears pooled on your chest as if your desire was more important than my obvious distress. When I told you to leave in a voice so much smaller than my own, you just kept insisting that you'd stopped, more concerned with your own culpability than my fear and vulnerability. To be a woman who sleeps with men is to willingly invite the lion between your legs. Does that sound like a fair price for us to continue to pay? And I thought I would leave you with one slightly more optimistic one, just to bring it up a little bit. This one doesn't have a title yet. Well, maybe it's called Belonging, I haven't decided. The curves of my face belong to my mother. The swell of my cheeks when I grin, the stub of my chin that caps my face, the arch of my brow in both rest and skepticism. One day when I was looking through old photos, I found one of a stoic group of strangers who all had a version of this face. There I was, haunting the past. The angles of my face belonged to my father. The protrusion of my nose, the obtuse spread of my smile with its hint of gums, the lines that run from the corners of nose to mouth. One day when I was looking in the mirror, I smiled and my grandmother smiled back. My version of her face, haunting the future. And that is it for me. Thank you very much.
Well done. Thank you so much. That was so intimate. We really appreciate you sharing that. And it was just so powerful. I really appreciate that. Thank you. Now we have Generalissimo Bryan Franco. Is he here? Are you here?
Thank you very much.
Coconut.
Yeah, my resources are low on my computer, so I am not on camera. Let me see what I got. I think I have 3 pieces for you. So I'm sorry I missed Michael's thing. I was at a play. So the first piece is going to be about food. It was actually a Yelp review. It's shrimp, tomato, and spinach eggs Benedict. Imagine you're an English muffin and you're hoping to maybe be toasted, then spread with butter and Smucker's strawberry jam, but instead they take you from the bag, lightly toast you on a flat top you with fresh wilted spinach, diced sweetly acidic heirloom tomatoes, perfectly poached eggs, creamy lemony holiday sauce, and lightly charred shrimp. Suddenly someone pokes the egg with a fork. Its yellow flows like lava from Kilauea and mixes with the Hyundai, sending your English muffin existence into an ultimate culinary purpose. You are now an Eggs Benedict special at the Copper Kettle in Topsom, Maine. Poem 2 was recently written. It's called Just Add a Little Pinch. Once upon a time, I did not get overwhelmed by rooms designed for loud, overlapping conversations where I have to yell at the top of my lungs to be heard by someone whose face is an inch from my face, where the idea of an intimate conversation would sound like a macro aggression arm wrestling match using vocal cords instead of arms if all of a sudden everyone else in the room stopped their screaming. Once upon a time, this guy I had a crush on invited me to see the American Ballet Theater at Lincoln Center. The only other ballet I had ever attended was a school field trip to the Nutcracker. Before the ballet, we went to a loud restaurant with jazz playing so loud, I had to scream to hear, everyone had to scream to hear each other, which meant we all had to lean in so close it looked like everyone was leaning in for a kiss. The place was famous for its deconstructed Caesar salad with whole pieces of romaine stacked alternately with shavings of parm, sprinkled with black pepper and herbs, topped with a sunny side up quail egg and crispy fried boneless tiny headless anchovies surrounded by a moat of olive oil streaked with a vein of aged balsamic vinegar. The ballet was a modern dance interpretation of rites of spring. I had never imagined the act of someone dragging their feet could be so sensual. The dancers danced with the fluidity of mercury that had escaped from a thermometer and couldn't decide if it wanted to part ways from itself or stay together. In the meantime, this guy I had a crush on who paid for my dinner was playing footsie with me beneath our seats. I could barely breathe when he smiled and stabbed my soul with his ice blue eyes. We met in Central Park at an Italian ice cart. He stood behind me in a tank top on rollerblades while I couldn't make up my mind what flavor I wanted. He helped me choose a combo pina colada and lemon lime. After he got his, we made all sorts of small talk. We proceeded to exchange digits. I borrowed a pen and paper from the Italian ice guy. I never thought he'd call me after we met, and I was too afraid to call him, but he called me out of the blue and invited me to the ballet. It was too much for my brain to interpret as anything other than pinch me, I'm dreaming. Once upon a time, I allowed myself to believe that a too good to be true pinch me, I'm dreaming crush would not leave my psyche with a history repeating itself bruise from the pinch. And then this is another new piece that I wrote last night. It's If Narcissus Were Born Blind. If Narcissus were born blind, would his fate have been avoided? If he never bore witness to colors or flowers or reflective bodies of water, would he understand the idea of aesthetic beauty? If Narcissus were born blind, if someone called him handsome, could he comprehend this word as the initiation of his ultimate undoing? If Narcissus were born blind, would his fate have found a way to escape into the ether of forever? Without sight, would he somehow know his smooth skin was something for others to envy? Would he somehow know his silky hair was something not so usual? Without sight, could he comprehend when his mother's friend ran her hand over his muscular frame that he was special? If Narcissus were blind, would he have developed his mind? Instead, would he somehow have found a way to always be the smartest person in the room? Would he forgo conversations because no one else could provide him with intellectual stimulation? Would he retreat to conversations with himself that weren't what he might decide to say to someone else because he was the only person worthy of his attention? If Narcissus were blind, would he have found a way to get lost in the reflection of his voice? He was, after all, the original narcissist. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Always a delight. Always a delight. So welcome to, so good to see you.
Gracias.
Well, see your image there. Okay, and I apologize that I missed Antoinette Vella Payne, and I'm so sorry. There was a problem between my phone and my laptop. Text notes were not updating, so.
No worries, I'm here. It's been great. I've loved listening to everybody. It's been wonderful. I have a couple here. I'm going to start with a kind of a light one. It's called Online Dating. I lost a few days talking to men online, potential hyenas, possible lovers, uncaring of my state of mind. I have butterflies in the garden, white or orange with detailed tattoos, hovering near the hedge that hides me from view, where two women walk by laughing. You better shape up, 'cause I need a man. My mind is set on you. Floating visions wander here. I needed chalupa of Taco Bell fame, last meal before jumping into the sea. Refreshed and wet, coming up for air, I throw my head back in time for a swallow before a slimy serpent wearing green scales rides me home through blocks uphill, only to find my garden tomatoes need water under their canopy of hope. Some sweet, some sour, clue me into the cosmic flow. Dahlias scream in flaming color, covering the fool's gold. Thank you. And then I have these others. So these are a couple more, if you don't mind. I don't know how much time we have or whatever. I don't know. But I'm going to go with meaningful relationships, because I'm all about relationships now, and that's why I started with that one. So this is a current one. It goes, my lover, my friends, my family, my neighbors, people I talk to, Facebook friends, aspiring to meaningful relationships with all, acknowledging my only special relationship, God in me, intertwined with you, humanity at large, connecting to divine will. Consciousness layered in morning's mist to brilliant night skies, reflecting our speaking, unlimited and needed to hold meaningful relationships. Where's the interference? Give it to me straight when I drop the belief that my body will get me what I want. Blockage disappears. My thoughts are as free as God's. I am replaced by great rays of awareness. Once fostered desires, hunger, thirst, and procreation cease to trouble my holy mind. Laughing at my folly, bring it in, give me some slack. Being only human, it is enough to remember him who speaks from within to all minds that listen. Bodies used solely for communication instead of attack or separation. In that one instant, without limit, attraction to source profits us most by far. So there, my relationship poem. And then maybe just one more that doesn't have anything to do with any of that. And it's called Opinions. Three-part harmony, my voice a tool, moving and melting, coordinating complexities. As we talk of national affairs, I speak of things we can all agree until a car bomb explodes across the street, screaming dissonant tones into the fold. I cross the road for stories untold on how I ended up here, and operatic convulsion, battling dialogues in defense, leaning into my perceptions, assuming what I see is true. Dried leaves collect on the surface. I swim with death. Floating on my back in convergent salt water, singing the body electric, waltz tribute to flesh and spirit. I join the atmospheric melody, surrounded by chaos, reaching for crescendo. I give an empathetic ear to pro-life people, standing beyond the choir, deep in their own conviction that their truth trumps my own. Thank you so much for time and for letting me read, and it's been a wonderful afternoon for me. Thank you.
Thank you. Wonderfully done. Really wonderfully done. Thank you so much for being here. And I apologize for the lateness in getting to you. In the shortness of time, I wanted to read just two from Octavio Paz, and then we can close up. Okay, I'm gonna do share screen. Let's see if I can do it. Okay, here. I can't see it. Okay, the first one's called Garden. These are early poems of his. For one, Gilles Albert. Clouds adrift, sleepwalking continents, nations with no substance, no weight, geographies drawn by the sun and erased by the wind. Four walls of adobe, bougainvillea, my eyes bathe in its peaceful flames. The wind moves through leaves of exaltation and bended knees of grass. The heliotrope with purple steps crosses over, enveloped in its aroma. There is a prophet, the ash tree, and a contemplative, the pine. The garden is small, the sky immense, lush survivor amid my rubble. In my eyes, you see yourself, touch yourself, know yourself in me, and in me think of yourself. In me you last, and in me you vanish. And let me do one more of his, called Nocturnal Water. The night with the trembling eyes of a horse in the night with eyes of water in the sleeping fields, is in your eyes of a trembling horse, is in your eyes of secret water, eyes of shadow water, eyes of well water, eyes of dream water. Silence and solitude, like two small animals guided by the moon, drink from those eyes, drink from those waters. If you open your eyes, night opens its doors of moss, opens the secret kingdom of water that flows from the center of night. If you close them, a river, a sweet and silent current, floods over you within, moves forward, darkens you. Night soaks the riverbanks in your soul. And I'm going to stop here. Wait a minute. Stop share. Thank you, Michael. Thank you, everyone, for a wonderful, wonderful session of poetry this afternoon. I'm just so gushing. I just can't believe it. It was just a wonderful day. And I really appreciate your time and everyone being here with your poetry. Thank you so much.
Amy, you did a marvelous job tonight, and your selection of poets, starting with Michael and everyone else tonight. Everyone is so nice and really sincere. It's a wonderful way to do a Sunday or a Saturday or a weekend. It's just great. Now you've got to do it more than this, though. There's only one. It's got to be.
I do once a month, except for October and November and December when I take a break.
Well,
It's
we're going
once
to
a month.
miss you in those 2 months.
Thank you so much. Everyone have a blessed evening or day where you are.
Yeah, well, I really appreciate you giving me this opportunity to do this. And thank you, and thank everybody for coming and being part of it. It was very special for me.
Gravel,
You're so
Gravel
welcome.
voice, Michael, I will never miss you if I ever have any other chance. You are so good. I just love to hear you read poetry. You know, it's wonderful. So, never mind.
Oh, you're fine.
I appreciate
Thank
that. I love
you.
hearing you too.
Everyone take care.
Okay, good night.
Bye. Good to see you, Michael. Good to see everyone.
Good to see everybody.